Who would you put on your villain set list?
Vlad, Adam. Who are some other villains? Well, they're villains and vultures. Charleston White.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good
Charleston
one.
White, a good motherfucking addition. People may not like him. Content fire though.
He's still out there?
Yeah, he cooking.
I like Charleston White. I just think sometimes I understand his message.
Yep.
I understand, like, yo, y'all glorify this rap shit and these rappers and the message that they're spewing. But why not glorify, the ones that's really in the communities doing the work and helping people and doing that?
Yeah.
I understand it, but sometimes he go a little crazy. And I know you have to be overt and kind of like out there to kind of like grab the attention. But I fuck with Charleston White. I just think sometimes it's like.
What you think he go too far with, like the Nipsey thing?
I think that him calling the dude that shot King Von, calling him, like putting him on the same pedestal as a Malcolm X is kind of crazy. It's like, bro, what we talking about? You understand what I'm saying? Now I understand some of his messaging.
Yeah.
But shit like that I'm kind of like,
it's too much.
That's just like, come on, fam.
Why nobody check him on it though? And that's the part
I think a lot of people really don't care about what he's doing.
Okay.
Now, somebody like me, just because I pay attention to certain things, I'm like, he's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
He's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
And then he show you his track record. Like, I've been doing this since before the cameras was on.
Yep.
I've had organizations in the community helping kids and putting kids through school and having after school programs, going to these. He's been doing the work.
Yeah.
So that's why I salute, because he ain't just talking.
Yeah.
He's really been doing it. I think Candace Owens is another one.
Candace fire.
She's right.
Yeah.
On most things that she says. But because it's just been a unanimous thing that she doesn't like black people. And I thought
she said that?
Well, no, I'm saying it's unanimous, but people feel like that she doesn't.
Yeah.
That she's for white America. That people just feel like because she's a Republican and she's a white American, whatever. That's your political shit. Do that. I felt she was right when she said Cardi should not get into politics.
Why?
Because if the original hip hop was not politics, it's not political at all. It was actually
wrong. That's
that
not
is
hip hop.
Yes,
hip hop was not politics. What are you talking about? How hip hop started was a voice of the people. That was just. It wasn't about political view. We was going against the agenda in the machine. We wasn't getting into your vote for this person, vote for that person.
Yeah,
that was never hip hop.
Creating a counterculture is a commentary on political and social economics.
The bottom line is this: she was right in saying that. Like, yo, it's some things you don't know about this.
Yeah.
So don't speak on it because you're going to speak on something that you don't know what you're saying. I didn't think she was wrong for saying that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm not mad at Cardi trying to use her voice to get people to vote. I'm not mad at that part.
Isn't it not a mistake for hip hop to not be involved in politics?
Yeah, why can't it evolve? Like, it can evolve from hip hop starting as a party
the fact that
to
we
Public
have a
Enemy
PAC,
10 years
all
later.
the culture talk, that's good. We don't own shit as the culture.
Yeah.
No labels, no talent agencies.
That's another thing.
No private equity. All that culture talk. That's something like when Vlad and Leor do what they do, that's their motherfucking culture.
Mm.
What black-owned label is there that an artist can go to and pop? You don't have a black-owned platform. Shout out to UTA. There are very few black-owned creative agencies you can go to. Very few black-owned advertising agencies. What's culture?
Mm.
Most black people don't even like being black enough to live in their blackness. What's culture?
Talk it.
Well, let me ask you then, who would you just put everything in the white America bucket of ownership? Like,
yeah,
Leor doesn't own YouTube Music.
No.
He didn't, I mean, he was the owner of 300 and Def Jam, et cetera. But then Universal was really is it just because Leor is white in that per se? Because he doesn't really own shit either. Vlad owns his company. Vlad does not own YouTube, his distributor.
Yeah.
YouTube tells Vlad how much they're paying him. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, does anyone own anything?
The ones that own.
But we don't, those are faceless people. We can give Kanye West all the flack we want. And I used to find those Twitter rants a little funny as well. Yeah. But when he did that one day when he was trying to find all the faceless people of Universal.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I understand people saying Leor could be a culture vulture, et cetera, whatever, even though he started in hip hop with.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
He also doesn't own shit.
And it's the same thing.
He's put in position because of who he is.
Yeah, who he is. Yeah.
And I get that point. But on the ownership side, Leor doesn't own YouTube.
I don't think there are any vultures. But going back to the tour point.
You don't think there's any vultures?
In a culture that we don't own?
Bars.
We won't take a stand and call people out when they do wrong. So we're not gonna take a stand with it. Like I've seen artists in the podcast space take deals and sell the rights to their show before it gets started. I'm like, nigga, you're 1,000 times more famous than me and Rashad and Troy. What are you doing? Oh man, I need the bag. I'm like, wait a motherfucking year. I'll give you $14,000 if you need it.
Right.
I got some cameras.
Right.
What?
Right.
No, man, it's the way the business go. You're gonna fuck up the value for everybody else then. And you see they probably break up and fraction off. Even like the pivot, shout to Fred and everybody, like, how y'all not stay together to have, but they don't do it. And guess what? Pat McAfee slide his motherfucking ass right in ESPN. That should have been Chatham's spot. But we don't work together.
Yeah, but that was something, I think, from what I understand, Brandon Marshall had did some business that was kind of shady.
Yeah.
And I think Fred and them, they was like, yo, we ain't going for that. And then Brandon started, I guess, lying on them.
Yeah.
Saying things. So in that situation, it's hard to kind of work through that.
Yeah.
Because once the damage is done, we know firsthand, you can't sit across from somebody and be like, yo, like, because it's just always there. It's like now the camaraderie and the trust and all of that is ruined.
Yeah.
So it's hard to work through that sometimes. And, you know, you want to know who your peoples are, put some money on the table and watch how niggas start saying, well, I feel like I should, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, so that's what you think about me. Okay, cool. So it's hard not to, you know, to work past those situations. And I understand what you're saying. Like, sometimes it's better for us to kind of work through it.
Yeah.
But then it's also sometimes where it's like, it ain't no coming back from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where, it's all subjective, but to your ownership point, where do we draw the hard line in the sand of what could be considered vulturing or not of the culture to ownership? Like if someone does a licensing deal with a company that is not of the culture, that's an agreement to sell their content against ads for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
That's where I get lost with the ownership conversations and the culture vulture conversations, because I do agree with you.
Yeah.
But what would be the solution?
For us?
No, I understand. Don't sell your content.
Yeah. For us.
But partnerships, like, I also think that the ownership thing got blown out of proportion, where people are starting to think it's uncool to do a partnership or to do a licensing deal or work with somebody.
I think people put that in our culture so that we don't elevate and grow together. Even like switching up on friends and all that op talk, that only happens in our community. Like when we went to Italy, I was like trying to find a club to go to at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. They're like, there are no clubs here for you to go to. I'm like, come on, like spend time with your fucking family and friends.
Right.
I thought that was so dope. I'm like, there's no lounge. She's like,
go have dinner.
Get some gelato.
Yeah, go have some dinner. Yeah.
But go hang with your fucking friends. I tried to go to the bank, get some money. I'm like, hey, y'all open up at 1:30. It's like, we open up when we want to. You Americans care too much about individualism. We're not going to let y'all fuck our vibe up with y'all American shit that's not working.
Fair.
Be a collective.
Yeah.
And it's seeped into, like, and I ask people all the time, like, from when we was growing up, I don't even know that many black people that, like, hang out on a weekly, just, like, kick it house parties and shit. Like, we've lost our culture and our norms so much, and it's bled into the business. So I think, I know it's a controversial take, but I think there are no vultures if we don't work together. That's planted. The rules that we follow, even in all the drama publicly, it doesn't happen that often. It may have happened with like Sam Altman at OpenAI and Microsoft like last week. That's rare publicly and for a publicly traded company to have like, or like what Elon said to Bob Iger about fuck you and don't advertise on our platform. I think we make a big mistake by not coming together, because if the tour works, then you don't think that same tour could get Stephen Colbert or fucking Jimmy Fallon, shout to him, I fuck with him. But we couldn't have that slot.
I agree.
Like, so I think it's just important to pick the people who want to work together.
And that's been placed, I think, within the culture as well, because no one looks at film and is like, Netflix isn't doing it for the love anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's been put on, I feel like, just hip hop. Like,
they're not.
No, it's standard shitty business that's happening.
Yes.
You're putting emotions into it. And I understand that, because this culture is so important and is derived from real life emotions and experiences. It is. It's definitely diluted a bit because it became entertainment, the biggest genre in the world. Yeah. But that's where it started at. So I fully understand people being emotional about it.
Yeah.
But those standard business practices that we deem culture vulture are across the board, everywhere. And everyone goes, hey, that's just good business.
Yeah.
It's shitty business, but I've never seen someone at Lionsgate like, you're a culture vulture because you don't do black and white films anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're just making Marvel shit because that's what's selling.
Yeah.
It's really only in hip hop that's put on to people. But I understand it. It's different.
It's going to be to a big detriment to us because I think
But how do we get it?
But that's what I'm saying. The only people that will suffer from it is the same people that have put their blood, sweat, tears, it's their life, it's their history into it, which is just.
How do we get it there though, to where everybody is on the same accord?
I don't know. I don't think money. I don't think. What you say?
We're behind a paywall.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't think everybody will be on the same accord, but I do think if we make like a Watch the Throne and it works, people will be like, okay, if we do a tour, let's say we do 8 days and it's like we made $42 million off of it. All niggas get along real fast. It may be behind the scenes bullshit, but more people are going to get along. I had the same conversation with Charlamagne. I've had it with Joe. Everyone get the same answers. But then Pat McAfee gets a deal, or everyone says, why can't we do what Rogan does?
Yeah.
And it's going to take all of us to get to those same numbers. See, Schultz sold out the Garden twice.
Crazy.
In 10 minutes.
I'm like, I hit him. I was like, bruh, you smart. You leverage yourself next to someone, got bigger. Took your own
YouTube page.
That's smart.
Great clips.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Great clips.
I'm like, and people let
Charlamagne's the nicest guy of all time.
I agree. But Charlamagne thinks like, I don't care. I got my own thing going. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why don't we, if we band it together, I know it, just seeing what we just do on our own tours. I'm like, dog, if we got 8 of us together, we can change the fucking world. And have a lot of fun doing it. We got to lead by example.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a beat a dead horse. That has to come to some understanding because respect to Black Effect and to all the other networks.
Yeah.
As much as I want to do this and would put up my money to do it, I'm not, it can't be Black Effect Presents. It can't, it would have to be a collective of all of us with a new name, a new LLC,
1,000%.
It would have to be a new entity.
Yeah.
Because it would never work.
Yeah. I agree.
It can't. We could put our logos at the bottom of the flyer. I'm with all that shit, but it can't be presented